So when I got back to Outriders Worldslayer and I was gonna play the early access, I actually haven't played since like 2 months after the game launched. So a lot of my gear pieces and weapons was nerfed. I was actually struggling quite hard on some bosses in the story, and literally while doing the end boss I was doing like 0 damage, while my friend that had an updated build just melted the boss in a few seconds. So I went back and sorted it out quickly, and just with some small changes from my stash, my build was so much better and it got so much easier. So in today's video, I want to guide you how you as a new player or returning player like me can assemble a build quickly so you can farm for the best Technomancer build. While making this video though, there could be a balance patch coming, so some stuff might change, but the concept of the build should be the same, and I will make a best in slot build for Technomancer in a few days after when it's all settled. That's why this video is focused on a starter Technomancer build, because if I would do a best in slot right now, it might change anyway, so I thought this was a better way to do it so you have it on day 1. But before we get into the video, it's sponsor time. If you don't have enough time, nerves, or can't find any good teammates, but you still want to progress through the game and get those cool weapons and armors, well, then dwing.net is your solution. Why spend time on the boring stuff when you can get Dwing to do that for you? They are offering leveling, expeditions, custom streamer builds, guns with high rolls, and much more. Just pick what you need. They are also offering services in Destiny 2, Division 2, and many other titles. The boost works with account sharing and self-play, so they do everything for you without the use of cheats or bug abuse. Dwing has been working for many years and they have a lot of client reviews and payment methods. You can check this yourself, and with the code widdz you will get a 15% discount on all services. If you have any questions, feel free to contact an operator. With that said though, let's get back into the video. So we're gonna start off with the skills here, and they're probably gonna look pretty familiar to you, but I'm gonna go through them really quick anyway. So starting off with Cold Snap. So you drop a gadget and you inflict freeze into all enemies in a really big radius around you. So this is really good for defensive purpose, but also for offensive purpose as well, because as we will go through later, freeze will increase our damage, and on top of that, when you kill enemies that are frozen by Cold Snap, they will do a big AoE explosion. Then we have the turret that inflict toxic on enemies. The main use of this is just to trigger damage when you activate it, but it also will act as a tank because it will draw aggro from the mob, so really good in that sense. Then finally we have blighted rounds, which is a big damage buff to our bullets, and it will also inflict toxic on the enemies. Really good for damage and also just to get toxic around. But yeah, that covers a bit about the skill, but let's go into the skill tree and we will talk about these slightly a bit more when covering the skill tree. So I actually haven't changed the skill tree at all since the last time I played, so you're probably gonna be familiar with this as well, but I'm gonna quickly go through it too. So we are going to top tree. First we're going weapon damage, then we also pick up reduce DK skills cooldown by 15%, and then we also get weapon leech 5% as well, and then armor piercing because we have to keep going. Then we go all the way here for the crit damage, which is 15%, just so we can get this one. So every time toxic is afflicted on an enemy, vulnerable status is inflicted as well, which means we're gonna deal more damage. And on top of that, we also increase that value with this one right here. And then we go back here and we get long range to be activated 3 meters shorter. And then weapon damage into also 3 meters shorter on the long range. And enemies afflicted with toxics receive more damage. Weapon damage, and here we get assault weapon damage, and then assault weapon damage here as well. Armor piercing 10%, just so we can go through. So then we go down here for the glass cannon talent, so you take 15% more damage, but you do 20% more. Really good for the damage, which you're gonna notice later is the main thing of the build. 30% more long range damage into bigger mag size by 50%. And then we get 15% more damage to toxic, and then lastly activating DK increase weapon damage for you and your allies by 40% for 10 seconds. And as you can see the skills here, we have the turret and also blighted rounds, right? So it's up for 10 seconds and the cooldown is 3.2, so we can easily have 100% uptime on that one. So that covers the normal skill tree. They did however add a new pack skill tree in Worldslayer, so we can quickly go through that. I think this tree is really straightforward. There's not really that much you can do with this build, so yeah. So firstly, we get the initial striker, so activating a skill once again gives us 15% more firepower for 5 seconds. So yeah, we have 3-second cooldown on the turret, as you remember, right? So as long as we have a 5% uptime on that, we can keep that up 100% as well. Then we go into Brain Dead, what a name. So activating DK or gadget skill, increase your weapon damage by 15% for 5 seconds. So once again, want to activate a skill every 5 seconds. Painkiller for health regen for 3 seconds, stacking 2 times. And then we have this one, which is kind of cool. So inflicting toxic on an enemy has a 100% chance to inflict a random additional status effect as well, which we're gonna get to later, which means we can play more stuff that gives damage. And then lastly, you deal 10% more damage to enemies for every status inflicted on them. So a lot of status here, so getting status on enemies is really, really good. I guess we can go through the Ascension as well here. I mean, I would focus on damage here, as you can see. So long range weapon damage is probably what I would spec first. You also want to get elite damage, weapon damage. Then I would go crit damage, crit chance. Mag size is really nice too. And then finally I have status power because I actually get more damage from that too. But it's only being 10%, so yeah, I probably shouldn't get that this early. But that's the skill trees. So let's go through the weapon and gear mods. So I will go through the best mods that I know and just try to get at least 2 of them per piece. And if you can get 3, that's of course amazing. I would not recommend anything with close range damage. So if you can, use something else. This video is focused around the starter build since I heard there might be a balance patch, as I said earlier. So keep that in mind. So starting off with the weapon mods, we got Dimensional Rocket that is extremely strong. And then also Omen that gives you a bleed on a target and also does damage. And on top of that, it puts on a status effect that gives you 30% more damage. So it's crazy, crazy good. Then the third talent, you want to have some kind of freeze. So Ultimate Freezing Bullet is a really good one. Or for mob clear, you can use Winter Blast as well. But that's kind of up to you. When it comes to the actual gear though, you have Captain Hunter that comes from the chest. And if you use Borealis chest piece, which you should be using later on, you will have Ice Cycle Storm since you can't roll it away, but it's still pretty good for ad clear. Dum Dum Bullets for assault damage. You got Sharp Eye that comes from Borealis Boots, which is also good. Then we also have this new talent called Alchemical Mastery, which is really good right now, but I have heard it might get nerfed. It currently gives you 30% of your status power to damage, and you should have at least 200% status power, so that's 60% as of now. But this, as I said, might get nerfed. Then we also have Cycle that gives you a good amount of damage as well. Then to keep up the blighted round, we use Toxic Lead. If you are not the host, you can use the tier 1 mode instead, called Trick Up the Sleeves, because it should work better with the latency. Then we have a bunch of mods, as you can see right now on the screen, that gives you damage for status effect. As we went through before, we will get a random status effect when we apply a status. And for example, my current gun have weakness, and if you are running an Inferno Seed, you would have fire. So first of all, prioritize Toxic and Freeze first, then Bleed because of Omen, and any additional ones you have. Pretty simple, and of course go with the one that gives you the highest damage. Then we also have Bloodlust, Crit Stack, and Kingslayer, which are not my top picks though, but they are pretty damn good. So if you can't get the other ones, then definitely put these ones in. If you find something else that gives you firepower or weapon damage for your build, then of course you can use that too. But the ones I went through is what I would personally look for. So I hope that will help you to know what to look for when it comes to mods. So let's actually take a look at my current setup. So back when Outriders launched, you always wanted to go bonus firepower, close range damage, and long range damage. I feel like that's not the case anymore. Because on the new trial map, there's a lot of long range and you're not gonna be that often in close range damage range basically. So I'm gonna take away close range damage and I'm gonna try to replace that with status. Because as we went through before, there's a new tier 3 mod for the blighted rounds that gives you 30% of your status power into weapon damage. I believe this one is actually gonna get nerfed. I'm recording this one day before early access because I have early access on the early access. So yeah, but this might be nerfed. And currently I'm not sitting on that high status power, but yeah, I'm sitting on 239 status power, and that translates into a lot of damage. We can't see it now though because the blighted rounds have to be active. But yeah, that's why I decided to go for status power. So the build I actually had when I launched the Worldslayer was actually full purple. I did not have Borealis. So I was struggling a lot when I was running through the campaign, and at the end boss I was literally doing 0 damage at all. So I decided to actually look into it, and yeah, they buffed Borealis since I played right. So I equipped that and it just makes the build so good. So Borealis increased damage on frozen enemies by 60%. Also critical hit damage is increased by 10% for all party members for 8 seconds after cold snap usage, which makes it really strong with cold snap. So that gives you a lot of survivability and CC with cold snap and freeze, and also more damage on freeze. So when you actually want to put together this build, you want to try to get the chest piece with Borealis and then also the pants with Borealis. Then when it comes to gloves and also the boots, you can use either, whichever you get. Because the chest piece and the pants comes with ideal stats, right? Bonus firepower, status power, long range damage. And on top of that, they also come with a really good talent. So if you look at the chest piece, for example, it comes with Icicle Storm. Killing enemies frozen by the skill makes them explode, dealing 3.2 million damage. This will scale depending on your item level, which is a pretty good skill for AoE clear. Honestly though, if I could remove it and take something else, I probably would, but yeah, the rest is so good, right? And then the second one you can roll away. I can't remember which one it comes with, but yeah, the second one is not a good one and you can roll it away. Then the third one, of course, you gotta get something good. I unfortunately haven't gotten anything good on it. I have self-medication, which actually is not too bad. Like, it's good as a survivability. So it gives you 15% more max health when any skill starts its cooldown. And this stacks up to 3 times. Really hard to stack it up 3 times. There's a techno, and it's nothing I really care too much about. It's just a nice additional bonus. And the cool thing with this is that it actually heals you. So if you are at 1% HP and you toss a skill, it will like heal you up to 75% HP. So that have saved me sometimes though. Same with the pants, comes with the right stats. And the second talent freezing boost, which of course works extremely well for this because we get more damage on frozen targets. So you would roll the first one away. I got pretty lucky here with the chatter, which is definitely a talent you want to use. So 25% more damage to freeze. But unfortunately, the gloves comes with the chatter as default. And then the second one is the bad talent, so you roll that away. Max health, cooldown reduction, and long range damage, so not really ideal. Trample the weak I have there for weakness, which is not ideal as well, but the gun I have for bosses does have weakness trap, right? So I do get the weakness on the target and also deal damage, and then I get extra damage from trample of the weak. And that's kind of the way how you build Techno, right? You want to have all the different status effects. So like just looking at my gun, I guess I should have showed that earlier, but crit damage, long range damage, like messenger is really, really good when it comes to tactical AR. It comes with dimensional rockets, which is crazy, crazy strong. Honestly, I think this is just too strong of a talent. But yeah, so it comes with that one, which is extremely good. The second one I can't remember, but there you want to roll Omen, which is another insanely strong talent. It literally gives you everything. So shots launch a cover piercing anomaly projectile that inflicts bleed. Yeah, that's pretty good. It also deals 3 million damage. And also applies a status that increases damage received by 30%. And this is a multiplier, right, for 3 seconds. And do 3 million damage when it hits, and then also do 30% more damage. So extremely good talent as well. So those two are the ones you want to have on the gun. And the third one, I would love to have either the best freezing bullets, right, the ultimate one, or like something like Winter Blast if it's for mobs, I guess, but preferably ultimate freezing bullets, right? Shots inflict freeze on enemies every second. This is my add clear weapon, by the way. Only have Omen and freezing bullets. Fusion Blast is nothing I want to have. So yeah, that's the gloves I have, right? Chatter. And I have Toxic Lead here, of course. I can replenish my mags so I don't lose blighted rounds. If you play in a party though, you get Trick Up the Sleeve instead, right? Which is a tier 1 blighted rounds mod. Trample the weak, not ideal, but it works with the messenger I have right now. Then we have the boots, as you can see, max health, cooldown reduction, long range damage. Bad stats there as well, but you have to use one of these because the helm is just really, really bad, right? And at least like this one as well comes with Sharp Eye, which is pretty damn good. And the second one you roll away. And I decided to roll this new talent, which deals 15% more damage to elites afflicted by toxic or blight fire. And when they are killed, they will deal 600,000 damage and also spread the status to other enemies within 5 meters, which definitely helps a little bit to keep the status up, so just a nice addition. The third one, definitely nothing I want to have, but I haven't gotten any boots yet, even though I farmed so much. So it doubles your armor whenever your health drops to 35. I think I swapped to these because they had higher item level. Looking at the helmet, we want to have a purple here, but this is the best I've found. Like, we look at this purple right here. Like, this one I could use, get splash effect radius for blighted rounds, which is not ideal. And I think that when I tested it before, I could barely notice a difference, but that's something you could use. Also mitigation from death. I feel like I don't need a survivability. It has like 2 talents that are at least okay, so I could just roll away painful chill, right? But ideally here you want to have a purple that have a status, long range and bonus firepower, and then 3 good talents. So yeah, as you can see, I have full apocalyptic gear. I farmed a lot, but nothing is really that amazing. Like, we need a better chest. The only god roll I really have is the pants, right? And this one works because of the messenger, right? But then again, we have double chatter, so I need a new glove or new boots. When it comes down to building this though, especially starting off, just try to get 2 good talents. If you can get that, that's amazing. Try to get 3-piece Borealis because it's gonna make your life so much easier with the freeze and all that. And then eventually you will get apocalyptic gear, but trust me, it will take some time. But if you can at least get like 10 good talents, maybe get a talent that's not base, but it will at least help you, that's good too. But yeah, that's what I'm rocking right now. I will make an updated video in a few days because I think they were talking about making a balance patch. I don't know when that will happen though. So I don't want to make a best in slot video before that one is out, because then if something changes, I have to make another video and bam, there's 2 videos anyway. So I figured it was more worth to covering a video just to give you a starter build to go for. And yeah, just go from there. But I think I will leave you guys here with some gameplay if there wasn't enough gameplay in the video. Other than that though, when you're watching this video, I should be live at twitch.tv/widdz. I will keep farming, I will do some carries for subs, and just hang out and just farm this game again. So if you have any questions, you can just tune in on the stream or maybe just come and hang out. And I will see you guys tomorrow with a new Outriders video.